only take 8 billion. So this is a video response to Mr. Giz Edwards and his take on the idea of time travel. Now I saw this video and immediately I thought, I want to make a video response to that, and then I did it. And you want to know how I did it? And you want to know how I know I did it? Because you're watching it right now. That's how I know I did it, because I know. So, sat down with a notebook and a pen, and I looked at it and I thought, how can I build on this idea? And Giz Edwards, hey Giz, if you're watching this, he gave us this question, this idea that what if only your mind, you know, your consciousness, your cabeza, if only your mind goes back in time. So, like, you're in a younger body of yourself. And so, I thought about this, and what I would do, and I wrote down on the top of that piece of paper, if I traveled back in time. And then I wrote a whole lot of nothing. So I'm just gonna wing it. Now, as a child, you learn quite a few things. You look and you observe those things, they pour into your brain and you absorb them for science. And this all leads to your future self. Now, let's say your future self is your past self. And you already know all those things. So what's the point of going and learning them, right? Well, wrong. Because if you already know those things, you're going to say, you already know it. So you're not going to have the chance to learn it. If you don't have the chance to learn it, you won't know it in the future. So, paradox numero uno. Off the list of paradoxes that I'm making up as I go along. I don't know. That could be the only one. So, Giz, he wanted us to think about how we would communicate to somebody that we were in fact from the future. And I thought about this, and I thought, well, I could bring, assuming this trip to the past is planned and I'm going there by my own accord and there's means of travel, I would gather together some blueprints or schematics of something, of an invention. Because events, I mean, if I can't, as a 35-year-old going back to a 10-year-old, I can't just say an event and then hope it happens. Because unlike many people think, time is not linear. It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. And as this big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, it's easily changeable. So even the slight gesture of going back in time can change the whole course of it. Paradox number 2. You could, in fact, stop yourself from time traveling by time traveling. Now, if you're back in time with these schematics of an invention that hasn't been invented yet, let's say I was 35 when I went back. I'm 10 years old in the past. I'm 16 right now, for reference, I guess. And you have these schematics of things that haven't been invented. Now, obviously, a 10-year-old with these, they're not going to think, oh, this is wizard kid, he just thought these up himself, you know? I mean, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm no Einstein. So I couldn't just come up with these on my own, even as a 10-year-old, even as maybe a 35-year-old. Yeah, I don't know. So that could be a good way of saying, yeah, look, I'm from the future. I have these schematics. But there's obviously going to be naysayers even in that who go, well, what if he just found those and he's just saying it, or what if someone gave him the blueprints? Well, yeah, well, you're a jerk for saying that. Now, what if my so-called trip wasn't planned, and I woke up one morning in my old house and went, am I having a false awakening? Giz, false awakening. And then I get up, walk around, And I come to find out that I am in fact in the past, and I go, what? What am I doing in the past? This doesn't make sense. And I'm trying to prove to people, hey, I'm from the future. And they go, no, you're not, kid. You're like 10. Like, what are you doing with yourself? You want drugs? You want drugs, son? You want drugs? And I don't know. I'd probably find my mom, because moms listen to things that you say. And I'd say, hey, Mom, I'm from the future. She'd go, okay, Kevin. That'd probably be the end of that. She probably just wouldn't even think about it. And then I'd live out my whole life again. Assuming that the whole, like, paradox thing doesn't rip apart the universe. So there's that.